Oh, that, oh, it's not like an air cleaner.
Well, no, like number 3 is like, it's like, well, if you know anything about Maine law, you know that doesn't apply. So, yeah, right.
Good to see you. It's been a while. How are you enjoying the summer? Pretty good. Good. You? Oh, thank you. You too.
Flip through and just, I'll be starting the Facebook Live here and then I'll go back to live.
Right, shout it.
Hey, Billy.
We get back over. Well, it's just isolations.
Alright. Scooch.
Mind you shut.
Not at all.
Quite low to the ground.
How's lunch break?
Good lunch. With hamburger, always.
Okay, wings.
Yes. Yeah, we're setting up right now.
How many states,
That's a good question. I'm not totally, I know there's been reporting.
Sure. Can you just make sure I'm
Sure.
Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, no, it's not.
yeah, that's around.
Bye.
The last time I looked at the list was yes. And there's a couple of July balance, so posted at the camp and very much. And then, do that do the same. Have you gotten any?
It's not last week, but there's more. We used it for last night, so
Yeah.
just worked around the house.
Which like is sort of that, like, you've actually get the house stuff done.
Right. Stuff I don't have to do on weekends now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
3 weeks we were on apartment.
That's where you're going.
So basically going to the farm with our kids. Their anniversary, we got married there, so we had to go for
That's great.
Couple days just to
Yeah. I mean, that's like,
do some rounds of New England.
it's, I went to Montana last June and I was like, it's nice and all, but like, why would I be?
Check, check.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Check, check, check.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's a bit more.
Check, check, check. Check, check, check.
This is what old press releases are for.
Well, like, they have used for so long.
Sometimes produce, reuse, recycle, right?
Anybody still need a copy of the letter?
Yes. Yep.
Who's the other guest?
Did you do anything? If you wanna like be here for each set.
Okay.
You guys all over. First time I was picked, you know, I mean, this job is really exciting. In some way, it narrows to a point in
Narrows.
a way that yours did not.
Yeah, for sure. So we're a couple minutes ahead of time. Can I be seen, Emily?
You can be seen, yes.
Okay.
As long as they stay down low, I don't, as long as you gotta,
Yes.
gonna have to take me. You're not gonna be there? Yeah, just get it started.
They're just helping me with the
That's
Facebook
great.
Live. So one important thing to know about the Facebook Live is that whatever you look like when it starts is what the heck photo is. Because there's one where I look very mean.
Smile.
will like announce that we're about to do it, and then there's like
Yeah,
steps to
announce,
do
and
it,
then I'll wait, and I'll give you a long, phony smile, and then, I mean, real smile, authentic.
So authentic. But then, so you want to just start talking because you want to make sure that it goes, and then
Yeah.
like give a thumbs up.
Give a thumbs up when it's live.
And you guys can disperse. I'll sit here, and then she'll. Yeah. Or if you want to like just go for Do we have?
Do you want another chair?
Do we have our row? It's one straight up. You wanna wait another minute or you wanna go?
Your choice. We'll start this. People come in. Okay, so I'm gonna start getting the Facebook Live ready, but it's not going on quite yet.
I mean, that is a good shot. There are a lot of, good-looking reporters and photographers out there in the
Just a
room.
little close on our faces. So we are good. It's got the text. So this is about to go. 3.
Good afternoon. We are here today so that I may share with you that Maine is the latest state to receive a letter from Trump's Department of Justice, demanding that we turn over every Maine citizen's voter information to them. Maine is not the first state to receive this letter. States all across the country have received similar letters, states including Minnesota, New Hampshire, and I join them today in my answer. The National Association of Secretaries of State reports that DOJ has said to them they intend to ask every state for similar information. I have shared the letter with the Office of the Attorney General, and in the coming days, we will be writing an official response. What I would like to say today is that Article 1 of the Constitution places the states, not President Trump, not the federal government, in charge of elections. The DOJ doesn't get to know everything about you just because they want to. I believe strongly in voter privacy. The federal government is overstepping its bounds. I don't know if it's because they're trying to change the topic away from the Epstein files, or because they're trying to sow false narratives to undermine voter confidence in our strong election systems. It doesn't really matter. When the first Trump administration asked my predecessor for the voter file, he said no, and he was right. The Republican Mississippi Secretary of State at the time told DOJ to go jump in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, the Gulf of Maine is awfully cold, but maybe that's what DOJ needs to cool down. This is my answer to Trump's Department of Justice. Go jump in the Gulf of Maine. Mainers should be proud of our high voter participation. We have free, safe, and secure elections. Granted, recent reports show that in 2024 we were third in the nation, not first like we were in 2022. But still, in 2024, more Maine citizens turned out to vote than in every election previously, before in our history. Mainers should be really proud of our leadership in elections nationwide and in our hardworking local and state election officials who make it so. The DOJ should be ashamed of themselves for casting aspersion on our local clerks and our civil service election officials. They have no right to the sensitive personal information of every voter in the state of Maine, and we will be telling them that in days to come. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer questions. And we will be distributing the letter publicly so that everyone may read it. Yeah?
Yep, so aside from the request for voters' personal information, what do you make of the DOJ seeking a list of all election officials in the state too?
So we are happy to provide the DOJ with links to our website and other sources of publicly available information. But one has to ask, why are they asking this of Maine and every state in the country? What business is it of the Department of Justice when the Constitution says that it is the states, not the president, not the Department of Justice, not the federal government that oversees our elections. And I want to be clear, I would be stating this whether it was President Trump or a Democratic president that was asking for this information. But this is unprecedented and it's very dangerous territory.
You had said that the DOJ was overstepping its bounds. Can you give some examples of, are there specific things you're requesting that you say by law they're either not allowed to request, or just kind of elaborate on that?
We're grounding our rejection of their request in the Constitution, because the Elections Clause in Article 1 is very clear. And I'll read it for folks. The time, place, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. Our founders placed the states in charge of our elections, not the president, not the federal government. So why on earth does the Department of Justice need the individual voter information of every voter in the nation? They are overstepping their bounds under the Constitution. We also believe that they may be overstepping Maine law and federal law, and we'll be sharing details of that in our follow-up official response.
Yeah, and following up on that, so is there anything that in particular they're asking for that you know now that they should not be asking for, or that you cannot release?
We don't believe they should be asking for the entire voter file. Now, keep in mind, they're asking for specific file formats. They're asking for Excel or text files. They want electronic. They want an electronic copy of the entire voter file for the entire state of Maine, and they're asking other states for this as well. Why on earth should the federal government, who has no role in election administrations, be compiling a federal voter file for every voter in our nation? If Congress wanted them to have that power, they would have authorized them to do so, although it's questionable about whether that be constitutional under the Constitution.
So some voter files are obviously routinely used by political parties for campaigning purposes. Is what they're asking for different than that?
They're going a step further. And first and foremost, I think it's important to recognize that the powers of the federal government, right? The powers and the responsibilities of the federal government are different than the powers of the people and civil service organizations. And that's what our Bill of Rights is all about, right? It's limiting the power of the federal government and asserting the rights of the people. So certainly there are aspects of the voter file that the political parties, that civil service organizations, that the people have the right to. Now, that is not every piece of information. None of you can have access to the full birth dates or social security numbers of voters in that voter file. But what the DOJ is asking is unprecedented. And again, it's an abuse of power, and it contravenes what the founders set forth in the Constitution. And as a defender of voter privacy, to protect the freedom to vote, that's why we're saying today, no, you've gone too far.
Do you know why, Shenna, the letter came like last week versus earlier in June? I know that's kind of a minor thing, but any idea why Maine is doing it now?
The Epstein files were hot last week. I don't know if this was an attempt to change the conversation. Trump is certainly posting a lot on Truth Social about what the DOJ should or shouldn't be doing to relitigate the lies of 2020 and to suggest federal interference in the future. And the states, I'm proud to join New Hampshire and Minnesota in saying no.
Does this give you any reason to trust, I guess, the Justice Department more broadly when they do these types of investigations? Do you have trust in how these investigations play out from the current administration?
We certainly have concerns because this seems to be a political request, not grounded in any authority that they have or any historical precedence in terms of the type of work that the Justice Department does.
Do you think the Maine GOP's report and allegations that they put out prompted this now, or is there any connection there at all?
I'd be surprised, given that what we're hearing from the National Association of Secretaries of State is that the Department of Justice is going to be seeking the same information of all 50 states, and that many other states have already received similar requests.
Do you worry that your strong language about the Gulf of Maine and the DOJ will interfere with further cooperation between Maine and the DOJ, or is that not something that you think can happen in the way maybe it has before?
If the DOJ has legitimate requests or legitimate concerns, we are always happy to collaborate on legitimate initiatives. This is not legitimate. That's why I'm saying today, when you're requesting the sensitive personal information of every citizen who votes in our state, that's why I'm saying go jump in the Gulf of Maine. And I'm proud to echo my predecessors in Mississippi and Maine and all across the country, because remember, in the first Trump administration sought the voter files too. And people said no, and they didn't get them. Now they're back.
The state, I don't know if you know which states got letters, you know, is it red and blue, or is it just aimed right now at the blue states?
So we know that New Hampshire and Alaska, that have Republican governors, received letters. We know that New Hampshire Secretary of State Dave Scanlon, a Republican Secretary of State, has also declined their request for information. We know that Democratic states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota have received similar requests. Minnesota and Wisconsin have said no to these information requests. So it's not clear that it is just blue states, or it appears to be that the Justice Department is seeking the voter information of every single American in this country. Again, if Congress thought it was constitutional appropriate to direct the Department of Justice to create a national voter file, they would have done so, and they haven't. There's no authority in law for that.
So last time, when they wanted this information and didn't get it, what prevented that? Was it just the state saying no, or was there something that backed the states up?
That's a great question. I'm happy to follow up with you on that one. I wouldn't want to misspeak to what happened previously.
Are you planning any lawsuits as a result of these requests?
So we are going to provide an official response to them, and then we'll see what proceeds from that. It is our hope that they will recognize that they have overstepped their bounds and will not move forward with these requests.
Do you want to speculate at all as to why the reason for this request? What do they plan to use? What do you think they're planning to use that information for? There's been a lot of speculation in the press about why they're doing it, but what's your thoughts about why they're asking for this information?
I can't speak to the Trump administration's motivation to seek this sensitive personal voter information. As Secretary of State, I swore an oath to uphold the Constitution, the laws of the nation, and the laws of the state. And I will fight to protect voter privacy under the law. So I'm here to say that they've overstepped and that Maine is joining other states in saying no.
Are there any indications from any other state secretary of state that they'll abide by this request?
Certainly, in some states, there are different laws that govern voter data. In some states, voter information is public information, and in fact, leads the secretaries of state to make a different ruling potentially.
In addition to the list of voters' personal information, list of election officials, request also includes asking you to provide lists of the state's ability state's ability to purge deceased voters, duplicate voters from the rolls. Is that information that we can provide as well?
We are really proud of Maine's track record with voter list maintenance and protecting the integrity of our voter rolls. Every year, we provide a report to the Maine legislature called the Central Voter Registration Report, the CVR report, that tracks exactly what we have done with voter list maintenance to remove people that have moved, people who have passed away, duplicate records. That is part of the day-to-day routine list maintenance that is performed by our clerks and registrars and civil service election officials at the state level. So we are happy to provide them with a copy of that report. But again, I point you to Article 1 of the Constitution. The time, place, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. And so we report to the legislature in accordance with the Constitution, and while we're happy to share those reports with the Federal Department of Justice, we want to remind them of their responsibilities and the limitations on their authority under the Constitution. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful afternoon. Do you all have copies of the letter?